So good morning, Decatur. We hope everyone had a great Labor Day weekend, and thank you for joining us for this midweek update. Today we're honored to have with us Morgan County Commission Chairman Ray Long. Chairman, thank you for being with us.
Appreciate it.
And then we also are thankful to have the Chief Nursing Officer from Decatur Morgan Hospital, Anita Walden. Anita, it's good to have you back with us today.
Glad to be here.
So just a few updates. Currently, Morgan County COVID-19 cases are at 2,896. That's about a 2% weekly increase since September 1. Remember last week that number was hovering around 5%. So let's keep our case trends heading in the right direction. We know how to do that. City Hall operations continue to remain as is. You might be able to save a trip by making a phone call or emailing one of the departments by visiting our website at DecaturAlabamaUSA.com and finding the department that you need to do business with. We will have Household Chemical Collection Day this Saturday from 9 o'clock to 12 p.m. Now that includes maybe your old pool chemicals, fertilizers, and pesticides. And these can be taken to our complex at 1802 Central Parkway. Always want to encourage you to complete your census at my2020census.gov. Get these in as soon as possible as the deadline is quickly approaching. Chairman, we're still doing all right.
We're still number 4 in the state, but we're hovering around 70%. We need better than that.
Yes, sir. Thank you. All right, so also want to encourage you to remember to stay in touch with those in your neighborhood, especially our elderly neighbors, and just well checks, making sure that we're checking on them. So, Chairman, why don't you give us an update on the county?
Everything's good in the county. Real pleased to announce when I walked out the back door a while ago, the second floor, nobody was in line for tags, and that's kind of unusual. You know, we've done away with all the mail-in fees, online fees, and all that back in March, and it's really catching on now. This past weekend, just through the weekend, we had 1,026 people go online and buy their tags. That's 1,026 people that would have had to come through the courthouse if they'd not went online. So, you know, that word's catching on, and we're just proud of that because we hate to see anybody stand in line. But the less people that can come through, the less chance we have of spreading this COVID too. Great weekend. Like I say, our numbers, you know, is not really increasing as much as they have been. That's a sign that people's doing what we ask them to do. You know, wear your mask, get out. Football games, they said, you know, last week we discussed nobody was wearing them at football games, but I heard over this past weekend it was trying to really enforce that and make people do it, and maybe that's why our numbers are coming down, because, you know, we all got to be in it together to ever put a halt to this thing. So I'm proud of our citizens, just as I know you are, and you know, they're doing everything we ask them to do, so I appreciate them. Thank you.
Chairman, we appreciate you. Anita, how are things at the hospital?
Well, we're busy.
Okay.
I will share with you some of the numbers, but first of all, let me thank everyone in Decatur for your support. Once again, I feel like we can't tell you thank you enough. We want to thank our Morgan County communities, our churches, businesses, organizations, our Huntsville Hospital system, which has been so beneficial to all of us, our Decatur Morgan team, and that is our clinical, non-clinical physicians, and certainly our frontline team that's taking care of our patients. So, so far at the hospital, we have tested 3,296 people. Now, not all of those are inpatients, but that is anybody that we've tested in our ED or as an outpatient through our lab. 480 of those have been positive. That's about a 14.6% positive. Today in the hospital, we have 24 inpatients who are positive. We have 12 patients who are being tested because they are possibly COVID positive. And of those, we have 5 in the ICU, 3 of those on ventilators. Our fever clinic, which is located on the Parkway campus, we've tested so far 2,151. And we've had 300 positives. So we're running about a 13.9% positive from the clinic. Those numbers are up about 325. We've tested about 325 since August the 17th. That was the last time I was here, 3 weeks ago. But we are still running about the same percentage of positives, so that is a good sign as well. Just as a reminder, if you need to be tested for COVID, it is on the Parkway campus. It does not require a physician order. We test for employers, for school clearances, and if you believe you've been exposed. Please bring a photo ID and your insurance card just to help you complete your paperwork. We call the results Monday through Saturday, and we get our results back in about 3 days, but it just kind of depends on how busy the lab is, because we do send those away. And please wear your mask. When you roll down your window, we want to see you in a mask. That protects the healthcare team that's completing the task. At the hospital, our COVID patients receive care in 3 areas. One, of course, is our COVID unit. That's where we admit patients to that has a positive results. Or if they become positive anywhere else in the hospital, then we will transfer them to the COVID unit. To our PVC, which is our step-down unit. If they're sick enough, not quite sick enough to go to the ICU, but too sick to be on the COVID unit, we will move them to that PVC unit. Or then, of course, the ICU, and that's where the sicker patients go. And usually that is a respiratory issue, and that's why they get sent there, because if they need to be intubated, then they're in the right place. Our visitation continues to be limited. We don't have any visitors to our COVID patients unless there's a special circumstance, and we try to work very closely with those families of those patients. We feel terrible that they can't visit with each other, but we do everything in our power to take in a phone, an iPad, or something that they can have face-to-face contact with their families. We do have end-of-life and compassionate care, and so we work through those things as well. Our med-surg patients are allowed to have a caregiver as needed. Our labor and delivery patients can have a support person with them, and of course children can have their parents with them every time. Please keep our patients and our healthcare team safe. Help us do that. If you suspect that you may have COVID, and that is if you're having any kind of symptoms related to COVID, or you believe you've had an exposure but you don't have any symptoms. If you're coming to a facility to be tested or checked out, have your symptoms checked out, that doesn't matter if you're coming to the hospital emergency department, into the lab for an outpatient testing, to an urgent care clinic, or to a physician's office. Please notify them ahead of time why you're coming. That helps all of us be prepared, and that keeps anyone who may get exposed needlessly from being exposed. And no, there's nothing to fear or be ashamed about. We're very, very aware of folks who believe they could have been exposed or believe that they have some symptom. It happens to all people, so please, it's just for the sake of keeping everyone safe that we ask that you let us know ahead of time. As a reminder, please wash your hands, keep your distance, 6 feet. Anytime that you're going to be with folks, if you can be outside, that's wonderful. It's safer. Wear a mask, please. Please care enough about others that you keep your germs to yourself. We all want to get back to normal as soon as possible. That is our wish. So, as Ray said, I believe that everyone is at least trying. As I'm out and about, I see more and more people wearing a mask, a face cover. I believe that will make a difference. We've got about 2 weeks to see how well we did over this Labor Day weekend. We're hoping, and I'm sure that's not wood, we're hoping that we did well and that we all are safe.
Thank you so
Thanks.
much, Nate. Thank you.
Absolutely.
You know, it seems like that it is becoming, people are understanding that it is making a difference. And so they're doing these things, and we are seeing numbers going in the right direction. We hope that
Absolutely.
it'll sustain that.
And I love that people are getting creative with masks for the smaller children. I know I've bought my grandchild the cutest little mask, and they think it's really cool to wear those. So it is becoming more and more a norm to wear one. So keep it up.
Very good.
And you know, if you can match every day, that's helpful too.
That is. Thank you so much. All right, so now we'll take any questions that might have.
I've got a couple. Give me 1 second to get focused here. I got a couple questions for the county commissioner.
Okay.
Sorry. Okay, the Decatur City Schools voted to give DCS a portion of the online sales tax revenue last night. Does this change your opinion to give Morgan County Schools a portion of the county's online sales tax revenue?
Well, we're not in a position to make that decision. You know, with the schools, Hartsville schools that sued us, and AEA, it's in the Supreme Court right now. We're waiting. The offer was there before all the lawsuits was filed. We offered to give the school system 25%. We've done that, you know, up front.
What's the reason for not giving the schools the money? But I think you just covered that one because you commented about wanting to give them 25% up front.
Yeah.
A lot of federal money is being given to schools because of COVID, but that's not permanent. Are you concerned schools will end up with a lack of funding?
I'm not. I'm looking, you know, overall, like I say, everybody's expenses are up, but sales tax is what schools run on. Schools operate on sales tax. And here in Morgan County, the brick and mortar sales tax is up 7% on the year from last year. So schools are receiving more money this year from brick and mortar stores than they got last year. So, you know, the funding should be there. Like I said, we all have expenses, but as far as local, nobody's money's been cut. In fact, they're receiving more than they got last year.
So thank you. So with that, thank you for joining us today. Our next press conference will be Monday, September the 14th at 10 a.m. Thank you.